Welcome to video 6 of my Guitar 101 series. Today we're going to be talking about rhythm. Okay? So we get rhythm when we do more than one note or chord and there's a certain amount of time between them. So if I do two claps like this, those claps had a rhythm, okay? If I do one clap by itself, there's nothing there. It's just one clap. Okay, so what we aim to do to get rhythm, to get good time, is we have the same amount of time in between every clap or every note that we play. Okay, so if I go like this, that has a groove to it. It has rhythm. If I clap all random, doesn't really have a good sense of time there. Okay, so that's where rhythm comes from. So what we have is called a metronome, and every musician plays with this at some point. Okay, so if you listen to this is a metronome. It clicks for us. It has the same amount of time in between every click. Okay, cool. So what we do is we take 4 clicks or beats, and when we do that we have a 4/4 time signature. If you look right here in the music, I wrote 4/4. Okay, that is the most common time signature in music. When you do that, every 4 beats is going to give you a new measure. Okay, if you look at these lines here, these vertical lines, look, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, new line. 1, 2, 3, 4, new line, so on and so on. All right, that's how most music is organized, and these measure lines help us so we don't get lost in the music. Okay, sometimes people will call a measure a bar, so they'll say bar line. It means the exact same thing. Okay, I usually call it measure though. So anyway, on each of these measures we got 3 different types of notes. So these first notes here are called quarter notes. There's 4 of them, and 4 of them equal a whole, because 4 quarters equals a whole, and that gives us a measure. When we see these guys, we play on every single click. Okay, we don't skip anything. This is a different story though. These are called half notes. All right, and if you look, we play on beat 1 and then we play on beat 3. So when you see these, you play a beat, you keep letting that note ring through another beat, and then you play the next beat. Okay, those are half notes. There's 2 of them. 2 halves equals a whole. That fills up the measure. Okay, now this right here is called a whole note, and when you look at that, we play on beat 1 and it rings the entire measure for all 4 clicks. Okay, it's a whole note. It fills up the whole measure, and we only need one of them. 1 whole equals a whole. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate these with a metronome. I'm going to play a chord on my guitar here, and I'll show you what it sounds like. I'm going to do each of these measures twice. So here's the quarter notes. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how I was right with the click? Sounds pretty good, right? It has a groove to it. Let's do these half notes now. So I play a beat, skip 1, play a beat, skip 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Now I'm going to do 2 measures of whole notes here, and all I do on this is I just play beat 1. It rings an entire measure. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, cool. So, it's important to know, I don't know if you noticed on that metronome, but one of the clicks sounds different. That's for a really good reason, because that's beat number 1. That helps you keep time. Most metronomes are like that. So I've changed up what's on the board here, okay? These are called rests. So when you see these, you don't play anything, all right? This is a quarter rest. I made a kind of a nicer looking one on the board here, all right? When you see those, you don't play anything for 1 beat. it's complete silence. Okay, and look, I got 4 of them. They don't look the same, they're kind of squiggly, but the concept is still there. You know, there's 4 of them in that measure. Okay, now these are half rests, so when you see these, you don't play anything for 2 clicks. Okay, look, and I have 2 of them in the measure, just like the half notes. Okay, and then this is a whole rest, all right, and that's where you don't play anything for an entire measure, all 4 beats. Okay, it's very easy to confuse these. Half note rests, they're above the line, whereas whole rests come from below the line. That's the big difference there. So I've written some more interesting rhythms now. I've included most everything we've done, and I've even got some rest symbols going on. So let's look at this first measure here. I got 2 quarter notes, a quarter rest, and then a quarter note here on beat 4. So what this means is I play every single beat except for beat 3, because there's a rest on beat 3. So I'll demonstrate what that sounds like. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, I didn't play beat 3, and now I've got some more interesting rhythm again. I'll do that again without talking. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. Now let's check out this measure. So I got a quarter note rest right on beat 1, so I don't play beat 1, which is pretty interesting. Now check this out. I wrote a half note on beat 2. We didn't see that before. If you remember, with half notes, we play a click, then we let it ring for a click, right? Well, that's what I'm doing. It's on beat 2. I let it ring for beat 3, and then that gives me beat 4, a quarter note on there. So I'm only playing beat 2 and beat 4, and I'm letting beat 2 ring through beat 3. So here we go. I'll show you that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot more interesting. I'll do it again. 3, 4. Cool. All right, now this last one's actually pretty simple. So I got 2 quarter notes, then I got a half note rest on beat 3. So what happens here, I just play beat 1, beat 2, but a half note rest, I rest for 2 beats. So that means I don't play anything for beat 3 or beat 4. I'll go ahead and do this one now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Good. I'll do it again. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Cool. Now, if you notice, when I have a rest, I am completely killing the sound. You want to practice doing that. When there's a rest in music, there should be absolutely no sound there. A good thing you can do on your guitar is actually just flatten your palm and gently touch the strings, and that'll mute the strings. All right, so I got a new concept here for you. These are called eighth notes. Okay, so what happens with these, if you look at our clicks here, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's actually notes that you strum in between the clicks, okay? So you fit two notes within one click, all right? So how we count these notes in between the clicks, we say the word end, as in A-N-D, okay? So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's how you count eighth notes. Now, what's interesting with guitar when you get playing eighth notes is that the end counts, you actually do an up strum. So that's a really important thing with guitar. With the numbered counts, you do downs. The end counts, you do ups. That is proper guitar strumming. So if you look here, these symbols, these little square things, these are down strum symbols, and these V's are up strum symbols. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play this first measure here. It's an entire measure of eighth notes. I'm going to do it with the click. So here we go. 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See, I fit a lot of strums within that measure, right? It's a lot quicker now. Here, I'm going to do it again without counting. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool, and that's the basic idea of eighth notes. So I've included some more interesting measures here. Let's check this out. We got a quarter note on beat 1, so on that we just strum down, okay? And then we got right here on beat 2, we got 2/8 notes. Okay, so I got a down, up. All right, and then right here on beat 3, I got a quarter note, so just a down. And then look at this, I got a rest on beat 4. All right, and so I don't play anything. So how we count this measure goes 1, 2, and 3. And I don't say 4 because I don't play anything on it. And then how we strum it, down, down, up, down. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, see how I muted that fourth one because the rest? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, okay, cool. So this last measure, we got 2 quarter notes and then 4/8 notes. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. And now the strumming goes down, 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 up, down, up. And I'm going to demonstrate this one. So here we go. Well, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, without me counting. 2, 3, 4. So I introduced you to quarter notes, to half notes, to whole notes, and then I introduced you to the rest versions of all those notes. Quarter rest, half rest, whole rest. Well, now I'm going to show you 8th note rests. They exist. So they look like this, all right? And so that does some interesting things for us. You see this? This is still an 8th note. It's not connected to anything, but it has this little flag at the bottom of the stem, and that makes it an 8th note still. It's just not connected to anything because we got some rest going on in between them. So if you look at this, here's a measure of 8th notes and 8th rests, all right? So it goes 8th note, 8th rest, 8th note, 8th rest. So what that does, that just means we're playing on 1, 2, 3, 4 again. But here's the difference. Remember what I said about rests? You don't want to have any noise going on in between them. So this is the same as basically playing quarter notes, but because of those 8th note rests, I have to do a little mute in between every click. So I'll demonstrate that for you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, if I played quarter notes, it'd be like this. 4. I'm letting it ring like that, but because of those 8th note rests, it's short. Alright, see now this is where things get really interesting. So now I got 8th note rests on 1, but then on the end of 1, that's how we say that, the end count. You go end of 1 or end of 2, end of 3, end of 4, whatever, okay? There's an 8th note there. So this is reverse. 8th rest first, then 8th note. So what that does is that means I play all the end counts, all right? And so I play everything with up strums. So I'll show you how that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty interesting, right? In fact, that's kind of how you get playing reggae. 2, 3, 4. Most reggae songs do stuff like that. Cool. So now that we got that going, we get some really interesting rhythms here. Let's check this out. So we got 4 8th notes here, 1 and 2 end. Okay, down, up, down, up. But now on beat 3, we got an 8th note rest, so we don't play 3, but we play the next 8th note, which is the end of 3, and then we got a quarter note on 4. So that gives us 1 and 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 4. And down, up, down, up, up, down. I'll go ahead and play this one for us. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, one again. 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 4. So I decided to write out some more interesting rhythms, kind of combining everything we've done so far, almost. Okay. So let's check them out. I got a half note here, and then I got 4 eighth notes. So I got the half note, and then look, I don't play on beat 2, right? Then I got eighth notes, so 3 and 4 and. So this will be 1, 3 and 4 and. All right, I'll go ahead and do that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot more interesting. I'll go again. 3, 4. Alright, nice. So now this is a pretty cool rhythm here. So I got 2 eighth notes on beat 1, 1 end. Then I got an eighth note on beat 2. So I don't play beat 2, but I do play the end of 2. Alright, I'm sorry, I have an eighth note rest on beat 2. So I play the end of 2 because there's an eighth note there. It's not connected to anything, but it's still an eighth note. You can see the little flag there. Okay, and then I have a quarter note here on beat 3, and then a quarter note rest on beat 4, so I don't play anything on beat 4. So this is 1 end and 3 rest. So I got down, up, down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go again. 2, 3, 4. Alright, nice. And this will be the last rhythm I throw at you. So I got 2 eighth notes on beat 1. Then I got a half note on beat 2. So that means I don't strum anything on beat 3. I let the chord keep ringing. But on beat 4 I got 2 eighth notes. So it's 1 and 2, 4 and. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go again. 2, 3, 4. Cool, so that concludes my Rhythm 101 video. I hope that helped you out. Obviously, there's a lot more to rhythm than just this. It goes into plenty of other stuff. But for right now, that gives you a great foundation for what you need to get playing guitar songs. If you have any questions about this, don't be afraid to comment. I'd love to answer them. And anyway, keep watching. I still got a few videos in this series. And yeah, I'll see you later.